your faculty, your professors, how much you've learned and how well you've learned it. What a wonderful opportunity awaits you, right? Okay. As you can see here, we've had to call in IT. For some reason, this machine is not cooperating.
Oh, man.
So a couple of announcements. Please make sure that you get your service hours in, 15 hours, okay? So that we can give you full credit for that. Just a couple of reminders. Being in a club or being in choir does not count. Okay? So I see some put in choir as a kind of service activity. No, you're in choir, it's whether by auditor credit, doesn't count, okay? Has to be service outside of kind of academia. Okay, I see some hands, yes sir? Okay, just very simply, on a piece of paper, put your name, put the date, what you did, number of hours. Okay, point form, doesn't have to be long. 15 hours is what's required. And so list the activity, how many hours you spent doing it, and turn it in. Leave this at their Dropbox or in the Dropbox, quiet please, there's some more questions. Let's listen respectfully.
And then it reflects on. Instructions are the instructions are in the content.
Yeah.
You read co-curriculum. You reflect on how the service has helped somebody, how it has helped you. Okay?
Yeah, brief reflection. Sorry, I forgot that. How the service has helped someone and helped you. Does that answer some questions? Yes. Sorry? No, you don't need signature. Okay. Yes. How much what? It's on the course outline. Yeah. So it's a pretty good chunk. Any other questions? So make sure you get those in. Yes, that reflection is important. Sorry I forgot that earlier. That reflection on what you did to help others and what it did for you is an important part of your growth. Okay? Are we ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Many of you know Dr. Daniel Saugh. He's Toronto. All those from Toronto. Yeah, good shout out. Okay. He's from many years of service in Toronto, and now is chair of the Department of Psychology, and is going to be talking about a very important subject. When I first came to Bremen, everybody was white. Okay? Almost no diversity at all. And over the years, Bremen changed, and people from different cultures, different ethnicities began coming to campus, and so it finally dawned on some of us old-timers that maybe we should be more active or more intentional, that's the word, about how we understand diversity, how to get along with others of other cultures, how to be more inclusive so that everybody at Bremen feels that they belong and that they're important. And so, important topic. Dr. Saugh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. McDowell. And good afternoon, class. Thank you for the warm welcome. Appreciate that. This is a large class. This is my largest class I've ever had, Dr. McDowell and Dr. Donker. By the way, you have two of the most prestigious professors here on campus. You're very fortunate as first-year students to have two of our finest professors, Dr. McDowell, who recently retired. Retired, but he's still active. And of course, Dr. Donker, who taught for many years and still teaches, but is our Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thank you for the invitation to be here with this class, University Guest 110. And it's great to see so many beautiful faces and smiling faces, and of course the botanical variety. As Dr. McDowell said, it has changed, but even right here in this room, this is amazing. The diversity in this room is amazing. How many of you know each other? How many of you know each other? You most know most of each other? Okay, don't worry, we'll fix that in our class. We'll fix that, don't worry. Just before we begin, I like to often do this in my classes. Some of you are in my classes, maybe one or two are not yet, but you might be. I see one or two in my classes, in one of my classes, and perhaps in the future you might be taking other courses in psychology, and we look forward to welcoming you there and having you there in that class. I usually like to do what we call a pod thought. Pod thought is perspective of the day. Pod thought. I start my day, my class off with a pod thought. So today's pod thought is about related to and in relation to and reference to, of course, equity, diversity, and inclusion, which is a loaded topic, and I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, but we'll break it down momentarily. But pod thought for today is this. It starts with a quote. We see things as we are, not as they are. We see things as we are, not as they are. In other words, you could fill in the blanks for me. There are certain lenses through which we perceive, through which we see, through which we interpret. And those lenses are shaped by social influences, contextual influences, how we've been socialized or conditioned from a child. And so we bring that with us from our childhood into adolescence, teenage years, into our young adult life, as you are now entering into that emerging adult life. And so we see things as we are, not as they are. And this is why this topic is so important, as in your overall course, which is getting on track for success. One of the important, I would say vital ingredients of success is knowing how to connect with, get along with, relate to other people, especially other people that don't look like you, resemble you, sound like you, and have something pretty much a lot in common with you. But you'll find something. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, what your ethnic background is, culture. We all have something in common. I can tell you right now, Dr. Don confirmed this as a biologist. We can tell you if we all bleed right now, all of the color of our blood under our epidermis, dermis is red. That unites us. What do you say? It's amazing. So think about that as we start our class today with that context. And perhaps you may want to challenge the way you see things, the way you see other people. And perhaps challenge some of the biases that we might have. We call them sometimes conscious and unconscious bias. And perhaps even stereotypes that we might have that stems from how we've been socialized and conditioned in the culture and context and environment from which we come from. Food for thought. Let's have a prayer to bless our class as we start. Our Heavenly Father of us all, I want to thank you for each student today. Thank you for bringing them here to Berman. We're so grateful that they are here, experiencing their first year of this new experience. And I ask and hope that, that so far it's been good for them, and that it'll only get better with each passing day, week, semester, and year until they graduate. We ask that you come by and bless this class. Give them success to finish strong. Give them strength and stamina to cross the finish line. Keep the eyes on the prize, and be able to experience success for this semester as it comes to a close. Bless our class now, we ask. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, class. Well, we're going to begin with a few points I want to share with you. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. When you think about that, what comes to mind? Any takers? Any takers? Anybody want to chime in? Just breaking the ice. What comes to mind? Just pop up your hand like popcorn. I'll acknowledge you. Okay? Equity, diversity, and inclusion. What comes to mind? Anything? Word? Give me a word. It could be one word, a three-word phrase, or sentence. Yes. Okay, multiple races. Thank you, Aaron. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, please. Community and belonging. Absolutely. That's one of the words right here. Creating this community of belonging at Berman. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Fairness.
Fairness, absolutely. That's a very good word. I like that I love this vocabulary that we're building here, this list. Anyone else? Anybody else? When you think of equity, diversity, and inclusion, anything else comes to mind? Acceptance. Acceptance. Excellent word. Another great descriptor. Very good descriptor. Anyone else? Any other takers? Very good. We're building a list here. I'll take one more. Is there one more? Don't be all shy. It's okay. Yes, one more. Yes, please.
Understanding.
Understand. Excellent. Wow. So acceptance, belonging, wow, this is powerful. When you think about this, it really makes sense because it's something that we have to intentionally engage in. This is not something that we can just gloss over, right? This is something that we have to actually really maybe try hard and concentrate to do. Some of us it comes easier, some of us it might be harder. It all depends. But I suppose that now in the 21st century, we are so connected in so many ways. We got social media connections. Our world has changed. We actually, if you think about it, studies have shown that if you put different babies, children, say in a daycare, and they all have different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, color of their skin, whatever, at different multi-ethnicities, guess what? They don't see color. This was conducted by child psychologists. They do not see color. They see the individual as they are. And of course, if they get along with them by sharing their toys or their kind, they look for qualities of character versus outward signs or color of skin. They look at qualities of character. And that's children, that's babies. But then what happens to the individual when they grow up? Because we have been influenced by a lot of external factors. So we've heard things from people. We've developed biases and attitudes toward certain groups or ethnicities. And this is not a whole cultural lecture, but just to whet your appetite. That's a learned behavior. Racism, discrimination, prejudice, that's learned behavior. Because if babies don't see the color of skin, what does that tell you at a fundamental level before they've been fully influenced and exposed to the different, of course, incoming factors, extrinsic factors, and influencing factors in society and in our world? So it's interesting. But at Berman, we want to create a community of belonging here on our campus, and that's really important. So as we launch into our lecture, our motto is this. Can everyone say with me, what's the first word? Think. Excellent. What's the second word? Believe. And what's the third? Act. All right, let's say it all together. Think. Believe. Act. Very nice and simple. Don't you like that? Not this long paragraph that you've got. Very simple. 3 powerful words. 3 descriptive words. And guess what? All of these words are what type of words? Can you guess? They are what? It's a verb, action, absolutely. They're all action verbs. You got to think, that's something to do. You got to believe, that's something to do, and act. All of these. So this is where you are now. So welcome to Berman. That encourages you to think, believe, and act. Very important. And you are now part of this diverse botanical family across Alberta, Canada, and around the globe. This is going to be interesting because we have a lot of international students, which is amazing here. And if you haven't visited our international office, you check it out in the admin building on the top floor there. And our motto calls us to do something, to act with compassion. And I think that's really important. This means creating a campus where everyone feels that they belong. And you know what? Sometimes there are times when you might not feel that way, or something might be said to you or an action towards you that you don't feel that way. And we're here to ensure that we can support you and even address those things that may arise or come up. So we have our international office, we have our EDI committee, which I actually chair on this campus. And so we want to encourage you to feel a sense of belonging. So today we'll explore how we can build a community that values everyone's individual worth. What I want to do really quickly here is share with you a short video. It might be a little bit elementary, so don't laugh, but hopefully you'll get the gist of this.
Wow. Today, we will be talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Can you still hear that?
Why it is so important.
It's not the loudest, but
What is DEI? Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a term used to describe policies and programs that promote the representation and participation of different groups of individuals, including people of different ages, races, and ethnicities, abilities and disabilities, genders, religions, cultures, and sexual orientations. Why is it important for kids to know about diversity, equity, and inclusion? When kids know about diversity, equity, and inclusion, it helps create greater multicultural awareness and inclusion to help students with different backgrounds and needs succeed. But it also encourages acceptance and helps prepare students to thrive in a diverse world. Not only does increasing DEI give students the opportunity to visualize a successful future, it also exposes them to more ideas and information. Inclusive systems provide a better quality education for all children and are instrumental in changing discriminatory attitudes. Diversity in and out of the classroom will continue to grow. So it's essential we prepare students to adapt to an evolving world and embrace those different from themselves. Always remember, kids, although people are created uniquely different and come from different backgrounds, we all are special and play an important part in this world. Thank you, kids, for tuning in. And make sure you like, follow.
perfect. So that was just a short video to kind of introduce our topic a little bit further. When we talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion, it can have many meanings. Down south, to the south of us, they call it DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, just a change of letters, but it has become under attack, especially it has become highly polarized and politicized. And in Canada, it's slightly different. We're not like America in many ways. We might have some similarities, but we're also uniquely different. Of course, because of that term, it has some connotations. So even some colleges and universities, even, for example, University of Alberta, they've changed their EDI to something called accessibility, belonging, and inclusivity, or something like that. They've changed their term just because they don't want it to be associated with that. But nonetheless, the point of EDI is to create a sense of belonging, acceptance, and making it a place welcome for all people. And I think that's the key here. And there, of course, there is a strong undergirding of a faith principle here, a biblical principle, and that is that God created us all equal in His image and likeness. And that's one of the reasons, and one of the, shall I say, driving points, one of the more fundamental underpinnings of our promotion of EDI, and that is to ensure that everyone does know that they are unique, you're special, that you're a child of God, and everyone belongs here. So keep that in mind as we build our presentation, continue to delve into our presentation. Now, I'd like you to do activity with me. So getting to know your background. What I'm going to ask you to do, I know this lecture hall is not very conducive for movement, so we're going to do kind of called the linear activity here. So on each of your rows, maybe you have triplets and maybe two or three, all right? So dyads and triads. What I'm going to ask you to do is share with your fellow peer your name, what does it mean, and where does it come from. Then the second category is where are you from, so country, culture, background, identity, and what do you like about your culture and background, number 2, and number 3, what brought you to Birmingham? Okay, so let's do that. Let's break up in dyads or triads as according to the numbers on each length, and take off and have fun. We'll come back in a few minutes.
What are you studying? What are you gonna do with that?
Okay, let's come back together. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you for participating. I hope you learned a little bit more about your fellow classmates or peers. And it's interesting, right? So how many of you found out that you have something in common? Yes? Wow. Okay. So how many of you have, for example, the same name? The same name?
Yeah, we have the same name.
It's possible, right? Because there are people who have the same multiple names. Okay? How many of you are from the same country? Okay, I think we same country? No? All right, same country. Okay, good. Similar cultural background. How about that? Similar cultural background? Okay. And did you discuss something that you appreciate and like about your culture or background? Yes? All right, that's amazing. I hope that you learned something new from that exchange. Something that perhaps you never knew about each other or about a particular aspect of one's culture. That's fascinating. You just learned something amazingly about someone else. And then finally, what brought you to Burma? This is the one I want to just open up the floor and ask anyone to share. What brought you to Burma? Let's hear some feedback, some response. What brought you to Burma? Any takers? Just chime in. Volunteers. What brought you to Burma? How did you get here? Obviously, I know you drove or you flew here. I'm not trying to be not that sarcastic, but okay. So what brought you here? Anybody would like to share? This is good to know. What brought you here to Burma? Because you could have gone somewhere else, but we appreciate you coming to Burma. Honestly, I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek. We really do. And that's the reason why we have a class like this. Because we want to ensure that you settle well and that you engender and really belong. You really have that sense of belonging. So, anyone can share? Anyone shy? Come on. What brought you to Burma? Yes, please.
I wanted to take religious studies. I wanted to stay in Canada.
All right. That's Aaron, right? So let's put our hands together for Aaron. Thank you. I have a little history with this young man here. I've known Aaron for as long as he's known himself. Okay, I won't give you the details. But thank you.
It's fine.
Thanks, Aaron. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you're here. Anyone else? Aaron broke the ice. Is there one more? We'll take just one or two more. That's all. What brought you to Burma? Just curious to know. It's really nice to know that. You know, we get to share a little bit with each other. I know it's a large group. Sometimes you might feel a little bit intimidated by the large group, but we're all really one big family here. You know that? Yes, please. Thank you. Just tell us your name.
Nadia.
Nadia. Go for it, Nadia.
For me, a big decision factor was definitely the different plans they had, like the 2-3 year instead of having to do a full 4 year.
Okay.
So that was helpful.
That was helpful. Okay, and what program are you in?
Business administration.
Business administration. Okay, let's put our hands together for Nadia. Welcome. So glad that gave you the option. Berman gave you the option. And we're happy to have you here. Okay, let's take one more. One more? Let's do three to Tron. Come on. Let's do 3. One more. Is there one more? Yes, please. Give us your name.
I'm Dakota.
Dakota. Okay.
My great grandma graduated from here as a nurse, along with one of
Wow.
So it's a family thing.
Family thing. So you're keeping up the family history here. And what program are you in? Pre-nursing?
No, I'm in general studies, but I'm switching to education.
Okay, wonderful. Let's put hands for Dakota. Thank you all for sharing. Just wanted to get a taste of. Oh, you want to say something too? Oh no, you're scratching your head. Okay, thank you all for three of you for sharing. Thank you so much, Aaron, Nadia, Dakota. Thank you so much. And you know, it's very interesting. So getting to know one another is really important. Getting to be able to connect with someone more than just hi, hello. And that was the purpose of the activity, to kind of break the ice, to go beyond just the superficial, right, the topical. Because it's so easy to say hi, hello, and you don't get to really know someone. But today you got to know someone a little bit better, hopefully. So thank you for participating in the activity. So when we talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion, we're talking about some very important terms here. And this is essential. So the first, of course, out of the acronym, as it were, EDI, is equity. And we see the importance of equity, right? What is it all about? It is creating that equal access to opportunity. Ensuring our differences do not divide us, but our differences actually make the difference and allows us to determine access to resources that can contribute to your success. That's very important. So that's a loaded word. Then diversity is the values that are brought here with the diverse backgrounds that's represented here and the experiences of each of you as students in our learning and in our policies. And that's so important. You help us actually to make this place a better place. So thank you. And lastly, but not least, inclusion. And of course, what is that? That whole belonging connects. That's another buzzword. See, there's many adjectives that we can use here. But inclusion includes creating that warm environment where all members, all students, each of you feel a profound sense of belonging. And of course, where your talents, your gifts are cultivated, but also celebrated. And we do that here on campus. We celebrate gifts, but you also cultivate some of your gifts and talents here. So that's part of your academic journey on campus, that you're able to identify, tap into, unleash your potential, cultivate those gifts, but also here we also not only help you facilitate in cultivating your gifts, but also celebrating your gifts. And you'll see programs like that, and different activities, and awards and acknowledgments. All of that is the full package that we want to offer you here at Birmingham. So I hope that you're able to see that context. So that's the terms that we use here in relation and contextually as it relates to your success. So we also, very importantly, in our commitment to EDI, is rooted in our faith. And that cannot be underemphasized. We believe that every member of our campus, every student, is invested with worth, value, and dignity. That's each of you. Each of you have worth, each of you have value, each of you have dignity. You better believe it. If no one told you that, then you heard it today. Please accept it. Please receive it, because it's the truth. And we aim to help foster and facilitate a community here in Berman of inclusion where each individual is free to think, like our motto says, believe and to act with conviction, knowing that you are safe, that you're respected. That's the environment we are continuing to develop and to nurture here on our campus. So our family, very importantly, is created as each of you are in the image of God. And that says something, because each of you are of inestimable worth. And if you don't believe me, then you can take it up with God. All right, so why does diversity matter? Well, it's very important. So firstly, we're talking about intellectual growth, right? Learning from different perspectives helps to do something. It helps to widen, but also deepen our understanding of the world. You know, when we talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion, see, a lot of people have... I actually met some people who have never left their city, never left their community, never left their province. In the U.S., they've never left their little town, never left their state. And they have no interaction. Well, now they do through, of course, social media and online, right? But physically speaking, they've never met anyone outside of their, shall we say, indigenous or their culture that's germane to them. That's all they know. But coming to a school like Berman, of course, you might be thinking, Berman is where? Lacombe, it's not even in a big city. But did you know how diverse Lacombe is? And you actually have contributed to that diversity, which is amazing as students. You've actually made Lacombe even more diverse. You made Berman more diverse. So it's really important. It is very important, and it's an essential ingredient in your intellectual growth. Secondly, preparation for service, which is actually something that we truly promote and emphasize on campus here at Berman. We live in a globalized society. They also call it a global village. And this is also represented right here in the student body on our campus. Helping to navigate those differences empowers us to serve humanity better. Because I always remember this. I used to work for a humanitarian agency, and one of the lines we used to use was this. You think locally, act globally. Okay? Or you think globally, act locally. So we can actually change it. And that allows us to really give us a comprehensive sweep and view of the world. Because the world is much more bigger than our world. And we're part of that larger world. And thirdly, community strength. This sense of belonging that's created, guess what? Strengthens our collective resilience, our creativity, our voice altogether. So this is what makes so much the beauty that makes up and constitutes our campus. You know, if you go to a garden, or if you go to the zoo, and you see only one animal, first of all, you're not getting your money's worth, right? But when you go to the zoo and you see all of these different animal species, all different kinds, it's amazing. You go to a botanical garden and there's many flowers and different types and species. And it is brilliant. Even if you go to a forest, different trees. We have our biologists, ecologists say, different trees, different types. It's beautiful. Even in nature, it depicts, in nature portrays diversity. So what about here on campus as living human beings? If nature reflects that, how about us here? And so I'm so glad that we have grown organically over the years, and you are a part of that growth. So thank you. And the next slide talks about what's our shared responsibility. Well, our shared responsibility includes 4 things I want to share with you. Firstly, equal opportunity. So Berman, on our campus, we're committed to work and study environment free from discrimination and harassment. That's important. If you should ever experience that, it is your duty and right to inform and to report that. And we take that very seriously. We will address that. Respect for uniqueness. Every student, each student is to be treated with respect and value for their unique identity. Please promote that. Please practice that. Thirdly, our Christian standard is so important, our conduct. So we are a faith-based institution, and if you know, and some of you have a faith background, some of you may not, and that's okay. We still welcome you here, and you're very much part of our family. Our conduct in words, actions, and even dress should reflect the spirit of humility, dignity, and care for one another. And then lastly, but not least, zero tolerance. Bullying, harassment, or discrimination have no place on this campus in our community. Zero tolerance on that. And if you ever experience that, as I said, it is your right to inform and report that, and it will be addressed. So please, discourage that type of behavior if you come across it with peers or in conversations, because that is a part of your shared responsibility, and we appreciate that as students for doing your part in creating the environment that will allow a sense of belonging for everyone. So, I'm going to invite you to do this little scenario with me, and after the scenario we'll take a short 5-minute break. Okay, is that right? So let's do this last scenario here. You notice a student sitting alone in the cafeteria every day, while everyone else is in groups. They seem shy and hesitant to approach anyone. My question to you is, I'm going to ask you to huddle again into groups of 2 or 3, just like you did in the first activity, in breaking the ice. How can you apply the spirit of community here? So that's your scenario. How can you apply the spirit of community and even a sense of belonging here? What would you do? Brainstorm, talk about it, share it. Let's do it.
I wouldn't care. So I don't know what to say. Down so much money. My stocks just keep going down and down.
Another minute. And then 4:15. Give me 1 more minute here. Wrap it up. Are you almost done? You done? Oh, okay. All right. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. 6. That's all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Okay. Just want to, before we take a little break, before Dr. McDowell comes back and shares something with you, what would you do? Any takers, any volunteers, just to hear what came out of your discussion. Perhaps you have similar responses. Let's compare some notes, okay? Let's compare some notes. Who would like to go for which group? Just one spokesperson from your little huddle. One person from your huddle. Anybody? What would you do? How would you apply the spirit of community and belonging? Yes. Do we have a hand? Yes, please. Let's listen up, everybody. Let's give our undivided attention to our fellow peer. Yes, Aaron.
I would just leave you alone.
Oh, thanks for being honest. He's being honest. No, he's being honest. No, it's okay. Thank you for being honest. That's all right. Because that is an option too, right? It is an option too. Yes, it is an option too. Right. Okay, you just leave them alone. What if they saw you and they looked into your eyes? I'm just changing. When you say hi, when you wave them down. Okay, you guess. Okay. So, that's good. That's good. Okay, thank you for affirming your fellow peer. Thank you for affirming your peer. Let's take 1 or 2 more. That's it. We'll take a break. One more. Let's take 1 or 2 more. Yes, please. Let's listen up, everyone. Thank you.
I think I would try to ascertain whether they want to have a friend, or I would try to make.
Okay, so how would you ascertain that? Maybe ask them some question or two.
Small talk with questions.
Small talk with questions. Okay.
Nothing too
Nothing too deep. Okay.
casual. If they want.
Okay, if they want. So enough to gauge, right, where they're at. Okay, that's good. Let's put our hands together. What's your name again? Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. Okay, I saw one more hand. Yes, please.
Invite them to join my table group, but give them the option not to.
Wow. That's very good. What's your name again?
Shalice.
Shalice. That's a good one, eh? Let's put our hands together for Shalice. As you get ready to hand it over here, got a range of responses. One from simply ignore, one to small talk, engage, one to invite, and give them the option not to invite. Excellent responses. All your answers are correct. Very good. Put your hands together for yourself.
Just before the 5-minute break, I know I promised some people some more copies. If you want a copy, I've got some more copies here. So 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, let's do that. Well, you know what? You know what, class? I want to tell you that we might land the plane a little earlier. Are you disappointed? I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, you know, because I looked at my slides and I only got a few more slides left.
That's good.
That's good. He said, so,
I'm sure they'll be disappointed.
yeah, I'm sorry. You might get a little extra time. Well, let's focus on the last few slides here. So thank you so much for participating on that scenario, and it was very interesting because you know what? I want to tell you this: as we move forward, you're going to find, probably you already did, find someone like this who might be feeling isolated, disconnected, ostracized. And as a student who now, after taking this class, getting on track for success, and this particular lecture on equity, diversity, and inclusion, do you have a responsibility? Yes, you do. Part of your responsibility is to be a part of promoting, advocating, practicing what we're talking about, EDI, because as you belong, you help others belong. Does that make sense? Because there might have been a time, most of you are first years and may have some those who are other upper level years, like second, third, or fourth, that you're now taking this course, but most of you are first years, and you know what? You know how hard it is to break the ice, to feel accepted, to belong, to be, in an environment where people embrace you, and that's hard. So you can imagine the struggle for this student, because that student could have been us, or might have been us at some point, or someone that we know. And this is really sad to see someone. So, whatever you can to help someone engage, to connect with, to have a sense of belonging, to know that they're not alone is really important. So appreciate all of your responses, right? That's important. And I think that we got to be looking out for one another, right? Not just for number one, but for others. Because that's part of the ethos of our campus. So let's keep building our cases. So, how to be an ally. I guess, okay, I was just ahead of myself. There you go, how to be an ally. So firstly, listen actively, right? When someone shares their experience, listen to understand, not to judge, not to criticize. Right? And listen, check this out. You just listened to each other in an activity. You actually took the time to get to know each other by your name, what your name meant, where you're coming from, your cultural background, what brought you to Vernon. You actually took the time to actively listen. There's something you'll learn more about it as you take other courses on campus, maybe psychology courses, and communication course, actively listening. There's people who listen, it goes in one ear and goes out the other ear. Sometimes that happens in the lecture, right? Sometimes you're like way out to lunch, way out in left field. Maybe you had a rough day, a long day, and you can't pay attention to the lecture. Maybe the lecture is probably a good lecture, but you can't concentrate. Or if it's a lecture that you just can't focus on, you're not listening actively. It's just going over your head, so to speak. But when coming to people, actively, when you say, how are you doing? And someone says, I'm fine, great, wonderful. What if you ask them the question the second time? How are you doing? How are you really doing? Now, who really has the time to do that, right? But I guarantee if you actually ask them, how are you really doing after the first question, you stop actually to take a moment to listen, you probably shock them first of all. You probably shock them first of all. And secondly, you might be surprised that they might start sharing something with you. And the question is, maybe you're not ready to listen, then of course you won't ask the second question. But if you are ready to listen, because you are generally concerned about seeing someone who's having a hard time, maybe they're struggling, maybe you heard that they lost a family member or had a crisis in their life, that makes a world of difference. You can make a world of difference in one person's life just by a simple act of listening. It's actually one of the greatest gifts that you can give to anyone, the gift of listening. We all like to be heard, don't we? You like to be heard, right? Who doesn't like to be heard here? We all like to be heard. So can you imagine for other people, they also like to be heard. So listen actively. Thirdly, speak up. What does that mean? Well, speak up. If you see exclusion or hear any disrespectful or discriminatory, prejudicial behavior or comments, kindly but firmly address it. We don't do that here. Now that might be, that might sound uncool for some of you. You might be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. I don't want to be, labeled or stereotyped. But guess what? You're not. You're actually doing something unique. You're doing something commendable. We don't do that here. And that's important. So, turning a blind eye may not always be the best option. And if you could do that, you might be able to help somebody going down a path that might be, negative or destructive, so to speak. So speak up if you see something that is not right. And finally, expand your circle. Don't just stick to people who look or think like you. This is the privilege to be on this campus. Invite someone new to your study group or to have lunch with you, maybe at the CAF or maybe at Socialize, wherever you're going. Even for that student who is all by themselves, right? And maybe you're studying and they're struggling, that one invitation can change the course of their experience. Seriously. Just because of what you did. That act of kindness. One act of kindness. So I want to invite you to pass it on. An act of kindness. Pass it on. Because that one act of kindness will spread like a good wildfire, so to speak. So be an ally. And look out for others, not just yourself. And, here for you. So we have an amazing Saugh Success Center. How many of you have been to Saugh Success Center? Amazing. All my classes, I refer students to Saugh if you want someone to talk to see a counselor. Of course, I have to, especially for accommodations, we have Saugh where you might need to write an exam on an alternative date or you need more time. But they are amazing people. They have a lot of resources there. And of course, you get like a lot of goodies there, too, like cookies and stuff like that, right? Yes, you all know what I'm talking about. There you go. You've experienced it. So that's wonderful. So tap into resources we have in campus. That's one great resource we have. We also have EDI committee. Now, some of you may not know because the committee kind of meets, once a month, and you don't really know too much of what they do. But the EDI committee here on campus to help improve, and give that opportunity for people who have any type of concerns or complaints. So that helps us by getting your feedback to get involved in initiatives. For example, we celebrate diversity through Black History Month. We just had our EDI weekend. We had Women's Month in October. So some of you who came October, the last weekend, you've heard a wonderful speaker who also sings, Wintley Phipps. We had features Woman of Berman. We had one of the founding members, Leona Berman. So these are the kind of things that we do. So you'll see EDI committee. We also work closely with the indigenous students as well. So we had a teepee raising ceremony. Some of you may have seen it on your email blast. You may not have been able to come. Maybe one or two of you came. And we raised the teepee. And we had an indigenous elder that came and did some teaching. So this is kind of work that we do to continue to promote that equity, that diversity, that inclusion on our campus. So here's the real truth of the matter. We all belong together. We all belong together. And if we all belong to God, so let's ensure we all belong together. That's the line I want to leave with you. We all belong to God, so let's ensure we all belong together. Now, there's some resources here on this website. If you want some things to read, articles and all that, it's at www.bermanca.ca//EDI. Check it out. I'll leave with you a quote before you go. The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. This is from former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt. Take a note of this. The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is getting is knowing how to get along with people. If you don't know how to get along with people, it's not going to get you too far in terms of your career, in terms of the next level and chapter of your life. And in one of the classes that I teach, we do an EI assessment, emotional intelligence. We could have done it today, but for the interest of time, we're not going to do it. But I hope to see you in one of my classes. Thank you for being in class today. Any announcements before we go?
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing today. Once a month, like crucial conversations. We get a chance to get the ball rolling. We're going to try to do that, you know, maybe every while. Once that works here, you feel that it's a place where it's safe. I'm honored to be here. Anytime. Thanks so much.
Just get it to the
Is this yours? Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Philosophy.
I sent it to both, but his email didn't work out. See it. So maybe we're talking about missing
First time I so many people.
I understand, so was everyone just saying
How you doing?
We met last year, we were thinking about it, I'm so glad you're here. Very welcome. Glad you said. What's success?
So you have,
Wrapping up the semester.
yeah, because you have
See you around.
try and the final exam is with more marks. Well,
I will write you down. You're good.
There's a peanuts cartoon I like.
score high on the final exam.
And then how would
There's
I'll
no
let you
problem.
Study and kick it hard.
I'm sorry?
Final exam.
How would attendance work if I was sick?
did you send an email out? Then
Okay, even though I didn't get an email back?
I saw your email, so you're good.
I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, as long as you email, you're good.
But I still like the cartoon. You doing well? You doing okay? Hanging in? We'll make it?
Almost there, we're almost there.
Almost there.
It's the problem. That's upstairs.
Soon it'll be Christmas and